Well, it is the first week of September, and students and teachers and school staff all returning to schools across the province. And for those in elementary and middle and high school, that comes with a number of issues, especially for teachers right now who have been without a collective agreement since theirs expired in June. And for more on this, we are joined by Carole Gordon, the president of the BC Teachers Federation. She's been good enough to join us in studio this morning. Good morning to you, Carole.
Good morning, Stephen.
Thank you for being here. Teachers, of course, have been preparing for the new school year for some time. What are you hearing from them about the workload that they are expecting to face in the classroom right now?
Well, I think they're really excited and hopeful for a new school year, just like the students. They've been working hard, as you said. Many people setting up their classrooms, going to professional development already. They left classrooms in June with some of the highest class sizes, the most complexities that they've maybe ever seen in their classrooms, depending on, primary, middle school, secondary. And so they're really hopeful, I think, for the bargaining that's happening right now to address some of those concerns, to make learning better for kids and teaching better for them.
Is this something that we're seeing just in British Columbia when you talk about the size and the complexity of classrooms, or is this something that we're seeing happen on a national scale right now?
I think it's a national issue as well. In particular, we're seeing, we saw it in Saskatchewan where they took job action to address some of those complexities in their classrooms and the lack of supports that were happening there. We're seeing Alberta is at the table, and the teachers there are concerned about what's going on in their classrooms. So I don't think it's a BC issue in terms of some of those complexities. But we've seen promises made by this government about more supports in primary classrooms with education assistants and a counselor in every school. So that's what we're looking for from the government, and then we're looking at the bargaining table to address some of the working and learning conditions that are happening within classrooms.
It's funny because we heard the debate for a decade about class size and composition when that was taken out of the collective agreement and bargaining for teachers. It's back in there. Is it being, though, considered to the satisfaction of teachers?
Well, I think there's lots of places still in the province that don't have it in their collective agreement. So we need to be really clear. We have 60 different school districts, and we have 60 different sets of language in a way that was restored with the Supreme Court. And so it's not the same in every single place, but we have a lot of places that have a teacher shortage, and the ability to comply with that language right now is quite difficult. So we also are looking at a retention and a recruitment issue within this province. We have a teacher shortage. It is national, but we're seeing it become a severe issue in many places around BC.
And what about here in the Lower Mainland? Where are we short of teachers here?
I think in a lot of places, and we know Surrey and Langley are facing some of the largest increases in student population. Mm-hmm. And so the ability to provide coverage for teachers, to provide all the education programs that they want to provide, it becomes a bit difficult. And so, but we're also seeing that in some of those rural and remote areas, the ability for them to provide just education programs. I know a couple of years ago there was some concerns about even opening schools or classrooms in particular. Yeah. It's a major issue. So recruitment and retention are I'd probably say it was one of the biggest issues for everybody in BC, all of the stakeholders.
At the beginning of this half hour, we heard from just the voice of a teacher talking about going back to an older portable. And, you're talking about somebody who is, it was a teacher at Woodward Hill Elementary School. We asked her about some of the challenges that she's bracing for this fall. I just wanted you to hear a little of what she said.
So I teach in a portable myself. I'm like keeping an eye on the weather because I'm in an older portable. So no air conditioning, those kinds of things. And of course, early September can be pretty warm, pretty stuffy, and humid kind of plays a factor there as well, too. So when we're thinking about some of the challenges that we face because of infrastructure and long-term funding challenges, I think that those play significant roles in the day-to-day learning for some children. And when you think about Surrey and the hundreds of portables, it is a significant number of children.
So as she just said, Surrey and the number of portables in Surrey, we're talking about a very significant number of children. And I note that, the temperatures inland could hit 30 degrees today, and you're talking about older portables. What kind of progress are we making on that?
Well, we have a new Minister of Infrastructure. That was a new ministry that was put in place by this government. And so we've been able to talk to Minister Ma about the things that we think need to happen in terms of infrastructure. So we need to better plan our schools. They need to open where they don't need a portable on site right away. And we're seeing that happening in many places around the province. You open a brand new school and it's not built for the population that currently exists.
Right.
We are seeing, they've got some modular schools that are coming in, buildings that are coming in, but they take up space on the field. So we need to have a place for kids to still play outside.
Yeah.
And when we use up part of that footprint for classrooms that should have been as part of the main building, that becomes a bit of an issue. Some of those modular buildings are better than the portables. I've taught in portables, but many different kinds over my 30 years of teaching. And so I understand some of the concerns about how old they are. But you still, you increase the student population, you still only have one library, you still only have one gym, and it's built for the population that school was built, the main building was built for. So there are some concerns around that. So we need to see some support and increased funding for capital funding. And what's happening is those portables are coming often out of the operational funding, and that's
right.
the concern. So now districts are having to make decisions that are based on underfunding, not based on good educational.
And even the cost of moving those portables around are coming from
huge costs. Yeah, huge costs.
What would it take to get more people to want to teach for a living? Because, I mean, it's a very challenging job. The teachers I know love what they do. They feel very satisfied with the job they do. How do you draw more people to the profession?
I think there's a few things. One of the things that we hear across the country, and the Canadian Teachers Federation did a survey, and 93% of teachers in that survey say what keeps them in the job is the kids.
Yeah.
So I heard a teacher a couple of weeks ago. We were there's many of us in a room together, and the teacher said, "Just let us teach. Let us teach." That's what we came into the profession to do. Let us teach. And so there's huge stresses that are happening, as we said, addressing some of those concerns about the complexities, making sure that classrooms are fully supported and fully funded. The education system needs to be fully funded. When we do that, we can teach. We feel respected within that work. Government shows its respect. The employer shows its respect. And I think that's part of it. So we need to fully fund the classrooms.
We began by talking about the contract that expired in June. Where are we on contract talks or negotiations right now?
We'll be back at the table next week. We have dates through to the end of October. And we're really excited and hopeful, as I said at the very beginning, about what's going to happen at that table to address some of those concerns that will make this a good profession for people to come into.
Carole, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Appreciate it. Carole Gordon, the president of the BC Teachers Federation.